is that we as software developers need to probably add a little more, because one of the things that I always hear from MFIs and even from their members is that, okay, I've given you my information, what's the probability that if I go to the bank tomorrow my balance would be updated, or how will I get money? They don't understand security, they just want to know that it is secure. So one of the reasons biometrics is happening in India is because you don't have identity cards, we all don't carry. We can, in fact, in the US we have gone backwards in time where we are now having fingerprints when you enter the country. But here we do fingerprints for everything. So obviously the fingerprint is, unique, and it's at least accepted as a mode of mechanism. So that's one level of security. You now know who you're transacting the business with. Okay, that's right. But now we have a mobile phone. The first concern is what happens if it gets lost? It's absolutely true. If we all lose our mobile phones, we probably lose our email, contacts, birth dates, and everything else, which makes it very difficult. But on the other hand, when an MFI loses something, they do lose something of value. But in any software development, and I'm sure everybody does, is that we all encrypt data. The RBI recent circular that came out one of the circulars that's supposed to come out, I just read a part of it that said one of the reasons is the concern of security. So it's true, that's good that people are thinking about security. So I quickly want to touch base that, when you talk about security, there are a few things. You can be as secure as you want and never leave your house or never leave your place of work. But at the same time, if you want convenience, performance, you want to be able to doorstep banking, you want to be able to do, service a customer, you have to give up on security. So what is the things that you give up normally? Give up is the fact that you need to know that this information is encrypted. None of these people sitting or none of the developers in the world are going to leave the thing wide open. Let's assume it gets lost. So what's going to damage it's going to do? You're going to have probably a few hundred customer records that has an account number which has no value to anybody. It has a balance. You don't know who the person is, what will you do with the balance. So it's not like you have cash in that you're going to lose from a microfinance perspective. There are certain other things they are concerned about is the fact that people run away with the phones. I don't know, I think that may be a bigger problem, but then we can't solve it. That's a problem of people and how they manage it. So from a security perspective, when most of us don't depend on networks for security, and I'm saying this and I hope everybody agrees with me, because we assume that we don't want the network operator or the network provider to know what we're doing because it's none of their business. So frankly, what we like to do is to make sure that this is as transparent as possible. But we do encrypt. I mean, for example, in our own scenario, we take, and I don't know how the Israelis did it, but we take an image and in the fingerprint and all that, and within less than 14.4 KB transmit over GPRs and get a response, which says that they do some kind of an encryption. But frankly, it's good that people are encrypting on the fly. They're encrypting in the device. I've heard that a company here, I can't remember the name, I came across where they encrypt things on the SIM card. Somebody brought up a good point, what happens if the SIM card is lost? But they have ways to retrieve it because they find that they can cancel the SIM card and things. So another thing with security is that if a device is lost and if something is lost, then how quickly can you go back and reduce the fraud? So all the security is to minimize fraud. There's nothing called complete security, and I've learned this being in the security field for a few years. No system is secure, but what we can do is minimize. So again, keeping in mind that a security that you would like to look at, for example, if you were checking into an airline, and you would be the similar or equivalent or a little more than a person doing a transaction. Now, when it comes to a 1100 rupee phone, I am not even sure that's true, because sometimes it's difficult. When you put security, you lose convenience, you lose performance, you lose many things. So if you tell a illiterate person to enter a 4-digit PIN, and I believe biometric ATMs had this problem, they would probably give this to many people. And they would say, can you go withdraw cash from me? Great, that's security 101 out the door. But on the other hand, if you give them a thumbprint, which is all of us have talked about biometrics, why? Because the government, in fact, by NRG has been apparently giving out hundreds and thousands and probably millions of smart cards. And the idea is that your fingerprints are stored there, you put it, pops up, light, I know who you are, you do it. So we now kind of made it much more simpler. So again, from a security perspective, I just want to touch base. I don't know how many more minutes I have. Okay, good. So a couple more things I want to talk about is, one is the security of the people, the information you're storing, and then of course security of the device. So thank you, I appreciate your time.
Naveen from MCheck. I'm going to talk about something that Dr. Sridhar mentioned. All of this is for all of us to use, correct? We've been talking about something that all of us have, which is your mobile phone. And you also have financial instruments in your wallet. How do you use these two things seamlessly from your phone to make payments, to buy things, access services? So I'm going to be talking quickly about what our experience has been with that, and there may be some learnings that all of us can take out from what we've done. So very quick points, and a lot of it has been mentioned before, and some of it seems like very commonsensical, but I'd like to reiterate them. Accessibility. We've been talking about degrees of security, but when you talk about what does a customer need, what does he have? He has a handset which probably is a Nokia phone, 00, does not have GPS, whatever. He may not have a bank account, he might have a credit card. It should work with all financial instruments. Which telecom operator is he on? I really don't know, and should we be bothered, correct? And what does he want to do, which is the range of services that he would like to use from his phone. Essentially, we should be able to give him all of it. A key part of accessibility is how do you access the service, and a bit of it was spoken just now. You can use a SIM where the application could be on the SIM. You can have a Java application which you can download over there. It can be IVR based. It can be using USSD, which was mentioned as well. And it could be proof for the CDMA platform. I think the fundamental premise that we should start with is that it should work on all phones. If you have a phone, you must be able to latch onto the network, you must be able to use the platform to make a transaction. It may not be able to give you the entire range of services, and that is restrictive in some nature, but you must be able to get on board. And that's what you can do with us today. You can send MCheck to 56767 on whichever operator you are, and still walk you through a process where you can register. It must be able to use multiple channels, and we do transactions in different ways. We use e-commerce websites, we do some action from the mobile phone, we use IVRs, use call centers, their ATMs, their POS terminals. We do over-the-counter transactions, and it must be able to pan into these transaction environment space, if not right away, in some period of time. And it must essentially give you a good customer support environment. Transactions of this nature are across multiple entities. We are a service provider, there is the bank, there is the telco. And how do you provide customer service across all of this? And how do you tie that in so that the customer essentially has an experience which is comfortable, and if he has a problem, it is resolved in time. Affordability is something that all of us believe in. And I think we think that Indians tend to go for free things. I think it's the world over, everyone wants to go for free things. We've essentially put the service where we don't have a cost for the SMS rent. This is on the operators that we work with. There is also no transaction cost, so there is no incremental cost of a transaction. So if you buy a product or if you pay for something, it must be what you